and we are here to talk about our trip to Dubai. This video is all about the cool excursion that we did.
We got taken out into the desert and got to explore a very well-kept preserve in these vintage Land Rovers, and taken to an Arabic camp, got to see wildlife, got to see falconry. There was a lot of cool stuff.
Okay, so we'll break it down for you. When we were on our way out there, this was the neat part, is we got to stop by this area where they do camel racing, and camels are the royal animal of the UAE, and they do camel racing with jockeys. So it was interesting to see people train them, and we learned that you can't bet, correct? You can't gamble.
Yeah, there's no gambling in UAE, and even though it's the national sport, camel racing, they still aren't allowed to gamble on it.
But if you do win first place,
they'll actually give the winner a brand new car.
The government gives you a car, so that's pretty neat. So it's a huge deal out there. So it took us about 45 minutes to get out to the Dubai desert, and then when we first arrived, we got gifts. And I got a hijab.
And I got a gutra.
And they showed us how to put them on, so that was pretty cool. And we have some video here of Ryan getting his lesson, and you actually know how to do it now, huh?
Yeah, you gotta learn so you can put it on later, I suppose.
So that was neat, and then we hopped into our vintage Land Rover, and we were with another couple who happened to be married on the same exact date as us, June 18th of 2016. And then we met another guy that was from, do you remember?
I think he was from Birmingham in England.
And his name was Thomas, and then Sarah and Alan?
I believe those were in their names as well.
It's been a couple weeks, so we're a little rusty. So yeah, it was really fun. So we basically just like cruised through the Dubai desert, and it was just, I can't even tell you, it like looked like velvet. Like it was just clear. It was just like not a sea of sand, how would you say it?
Yeah, as far as the eye can see, it was just sand dunes.
And we got to learn a lot about the history, like the different animals, as well as different trees and all that jazz. And then they actually pulled over and they let us climb up one of the sand dunes that had just this incredible view.
You just kind of take it in. It's just breathless.
And they had
breathtaking.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. And they had a drone, so it like followed us around. So then the adventure continued on, and they took us to this little area that was set up for us where we could watch falconry. And they first give you a hand towel to clean your hands, and then they handed us this delicious drink. Do you remember what it was? Sage?
Some kind of herb and apple, sparkling apple drink.
It was so refreshing, especially because it was like so hot out there. It was pretty brutal. But then we sat down at our little camp here, and they had Ray the Falcon and her master or owner, or whatever you want to call him, and we were in front row, so it was pretty intense. How would you describe that experience?
It was phenomenal. You can't really, unless you experience it in person, it's tough to explain. A falcon coming so close to your head and such a high speed swoops in and grabs that piece of pigeon bait that they use, and just phenomenal.
And you can even see in one of my GoPro shots, I like jolt back because I was that scared, because the falcon was literally above our heads. We were in the first row, so it was intense. And then we got to take pictures with the falcon. So that was fun. And then we continued on, and that's when the sun was starting to go down, and they had this camp in the desert, this desert camp set up for us, and there was so much going on. When we first arrived, we got Arabic coffee and then dates, and the dates were so good.
The traditional Arabic camp, it was just a old worldly experience. They had it set up like back in the day. They prepare everything in front of you. They made bread for us in front of us. They do the Arabic coffee in front of us. They also did Ashley's hands with henna, and just everything there on site. We had the luxury of getting to try to ride a camel, which was a very different experience.
And then we got to smoke shisha. And that was like super relaxing, a great end cap to the night. And then after that, we just got back into our vintage Land Rover and headed back to our other transportation that took us back to the city. And it was just seriously the coolest experience, well worth every penny that we invested into that, because you just got to learn so much about the culture. We also did the tourist thing. We went to the top of the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. I think it's more than 160 floors, if I recall. 164?
I think it's definitely more than 160 floors, I believe, but the big thing is the spire that really takes it way up to the top.
And this is the elevator ride, and it was pretty freaky because they had all these lights and then this music that was just like, it was like a crescendo. It was like boom, 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 boom. Like every floor you went up, and then when you finally get to the top, it was like boom, and it goes like that. It was pretty intense. And there's hundreds of people up there, don't you think?
Oh yeah, there was a very good number of people. It's a weird experience because it's such a crazy sight. You can see for this quite a ways. Not quite as far as you would think because the air is very hazy from all the sand in the air. But the other thing is the sway of the building. You definitely feel it.
Yeah, the observation deck is like outside part of it, and it's like the floors, you could feel them moving under you, and it made my stomach weak for sure. Like at one point I was like, okay, I'm good, let's go down. But we just got really great pictures, and I think it was definitely worth the experience, minus parking at the mall. The Mall of Emirates, right? The Mall of Emirates, because that's another tourist attraction, one of the biggest malls in the world. I think actually the biggest mall in the world, and it was just swarmed with people because it was Eid, which is a holiday. And then the last thing that we did in this video, which was very interesting, is we went to this place called Ravi. We got this idea from
Anthony Bourdain had gone there on one of his shows, and it is just very good traditional Pakistani food. We had some mutton curry, that was my dish, and Ashley.
Butter chicken, it was so delicious. Came with rice, and it was really good service. The only thing that was hard was battling the heat. We were both like sweating so bad, and then when you eat hot food, it made us sweat even more, and it was spicy. But it was one of our favorite places to eat out of the whole trip. So Dubai offered a lot for us. We loved the culture because they embraced every culture, and just the magical buildings. It looked fake. It was just there's so much great architecture to look at, and it was just very clean, immaculate, modern. It felt like a different world. It's very interesting.
Definitely was an experience, and highly recommend it. Just all the visuals from the architecture and the different buildings, to the old world feel of the adventure, to the various kinds of cuisine that you get to try there. It's just an amazing experience.
And I definitely think there's misconceptions of people who say that they don't want to travel there because they don't think it's safe, but we felt safe, and everyone was so friendly and so helpful, and honestly they embraced tourists there because we were told that 90% of their operations is based on tourism.
Yes, it's every emirate, there's 7 different emirates, and every emirate kind of has their own niche. Abu Dhabi is a very oil-rich emirate where when you go to Dubai, it's very focused on tourism. So they really want the tourists there because we support their economy, and they want us there. And like Ashley was saying, they really accept all different kinds of culture, but you also need to go in and you need to accept theirs as well. So it's a two-way street. And
yes.
if you kind of have an open mind, you accept theirs, they accept yours, it's a awesome experience.
So you definitely want to be mindful and look up on their traditions and what's appropriate and what's not, and then make your best judgment once you get out there. But we felt very comfortable. We rented a car. We walked around at night by ourselves. We went to different places. that were unknown to us, obviously. So overall, we absolutely loved it. But to end this video, we just have to show this because this is pretty crazy. Thank you, Ritz-Carlton in the business district of Dubai, for giving this lovely, very well thoughtful and put together wedding congratulations book.
Yeah, that was an experience. We came in our last night. They had a special dessert for us, a book with all our wedding photos that we had no clue how they got them, and all signed by the staff. It was hospitality to the best. This
was the unbelievable dessert contraption that they put together. They must have heard that I was on TV from our travel agent, Michael Dietz, and they made us this chocolate reel. And then they framed a picture of us as well on our wedding day, and everything on that platter was edible and it was good. We pretty much destroyed it. Let's just say we are sad that it's our last night in Dubai, but we loved it. We absolutely loved every moment. We did everything on our list except for one thing. We didn't make it to the souks. We did try, but they were closed, and that was because of Eid, the holiday. Everything is shut down for a few days, so that was our only battle. But we're going to get some souvenirs at the airport, and we loved it. I'm so glad that this is where we decided to start our trip, our honeymoon, our celebration of our union. It's already perfect. See you in Thailand. And that's the end of Dubai. Next step, Thailand. And get ready because it started out rough. Very, very rough. Welcome to the Thailand vlog. We're not there yet because we missed our flight.